Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another live Mystic Fitness Flow. It's been a couple classes before I've been behind the camera, so it's good to be back. Good to see you guys. Thank you for tuning in. A couple of quick announcements. So as far as our outdoor schedule goes, we are teaching Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. on Victory Field, and we're tuning in live for that as well. So you can be part of our virtual studio or come and join us out on Victory Field behind Mystic. And that's Monday through Friday starting at 8 a.m. Please pre-register if you can, and make sure you come a couple minutes early so you can set yourself up. We're also doing an outdoor class Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. And normally I will be teaching that. Tomorrow we have Erin subbing for us. She's a fabulous teacher as well. So that is not streamed. That is only taken if you come onto Victory Field and join us. We're also doing an outdoor class Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, 9 to 10 a.m. So a little bit, an hour later into the morning, so you guys can have a little bit more time to sleep in. And that's Saturday morning, outdoor at Victory Field, 9 a.m. And you can also join us virtually for that on Instagram or Facebook. As far as our indoor classes go, we are doing our indoor classes Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And those are at 4 p.m. Bikram classes. And our last little announcement here is that Saturdays we're going to be having an outdoor class, 4 p.m. on Victory Field, and that is Inferno Hot Pilates this week? No, Yoga Shred, awesome. And that's with Caitlin, yes. So thank you guys for joining and listening to all of those announcements. If you feel moved to make those Venmo donations, you can receive one of those awesome handmade Mary Beth masks. We still have plenty to be giving away, so if you are interested in that, please let us know. Thank you to everyone who came out here as well. We are going to get some rain today, so we wanted to get outside for at least an hour and get our bodies moving, get some oxygen flowing. So fingers crossed, you guys at home, say a quick little prayer for us that we hold through the rain. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So come onto your mats, whether you want to find a seated position or lay yourself down or find a child's pose. Just really tuning in and letting your body come into a spot where it feels most comfortable. Allowing the silence to hold you. Breath in and breath out. Noticing each inhale starting from the lowermost belly and letting that energy rise through the rib cage and chest all the way up to the collarbones. And the exhale, returning back down the same journey, slowly descending. Maybe even imagining a light moving as your breath. So this light is going to start at the lowermost root. With the inhale, start to light up the lowermost belly. Letting that light illuminate up into the diaphragm, rib cage, collarbones. Maybe that light goes all the way to the crown. And then the exhales, that light travels back down nice and slow. Taking your exhales just as long as your inhales. Keeping this breath and this light moving upwards with each inhale and descending downwards with each exhale. Letting your awareness expand while your breath continues to move. Be noticing the sounds around you. You're joining us outside. There's some happy birds and a distant airplane. The beauty of finding this quiet space, this peaceful space within you, is knowing that it's always accessible. Even when you're the most stressed and maybe in a very uncomfortable situation, you can still ground down. No one can take this space away from you. Five more breaths here. And with your next inhale, as you start to expand, maybe inviting some wiggles through the fingers and toes. And whether you're laying down or in a seat, just taking any little movements that start to bring your awareness back into your physical body. So perhaps reaching the arms up overhead, finding a nice full stretch. Continuing some movement through the wrists, perhaps pulling the knees into the chest if you're reclined. If you're seated, maybe you just give yourself a big hug, wrapping your arms around your chest and shoulders. If you are reclined, taking the next 2 or so breaths to bring yourself up into your seat. Once you've arrived, finding a little bit of comfort in your seat, perhaps taking a block underneath the sacrum, planting your hands over heart center or bringing the palms to touch next to each other. Again, just grounding down, feeling the energy of the earth below you, the energy within the palms. And taking this morning's class with curiosity, letting your body just explore. We'll begin our class with the single sound of Om, starting with the cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. And for Om, inhale. Have a wonderful class, everyone. Inhale, arms circle sweep to the sky. And then just start to rotate at the wrist a couple more times here. So we really want to make sure that we get into our joints that aren't really made for weight bearing. So that's the wrists and the shoulders. We want to make sure that we warm them up appropriately before entering into any table pose or downward facing dog. Opening and closing the hands a couple times, spreading the fingers wide, almost like you're flicking water off of the fingertips. Forearms might start to burn here. Hold. And then give them a good shake, releasing all of that tension that built maybe in the forearms. And then the same movements we took through the wrists we'll take through the shoulders. So just rolling the shoulders in one direction and then in the other. Maybe the shoulders go one at a time or together in the same kind of circle. And eventually taking that in the opposite direction. So it can be kind of like a front stroke and then a back stroke. Opening the arms into a T. Maybe the gaze lifts. And with the exhale, bringing the fingertips towards one another as you curl through the spine and look towards the belly, dropping the head. Inhale, open your heart and chest. Exhale, curling and rounding. One more time here. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. Inhale, arms circle sweep up to the sky. And then with the exhale, twisting over towards the right. So letting the left fingertips drop to the front, right fingertips to the back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left. 2 more on each side. In. Got our little bunny friend over in the left corner. having his breakfast. Inhale and exhale. And we'll take that one more time on both sides, letting your spine come into some gentle twisting, opening your chest and shoulders. Beautiful. Inhale, coming all the way back to center, and then transitioning into your table pose. So allowing the wrists to stack below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Starting with some cat and cow positions here. So inhale, dropping the chest, gazing forward, opening your throat. And with the exhale, rounding, pressing the floor away, curling your spine, tucking the pelvis underneath you. Inhale, open and arch. And exhale, curl and round. So this is the part where you can be curious, letting your body just kind of move with each breath. And we're getting into the 6 motions of the spine. So we have arch and curl. We have left and right side. So maybe you start to wag the tail a little bit or find some hip circles, letting the hips drop to the back of the mat. Perhaps there's semicircles this morning and your hips are just kind of fluctuating from side to side. Perhaps as you continue this motion, your body starts to let you unwind a little more. So each movement may be going just a centimeter deeper because of that breath. And naturally, our bodies move in cycles, and our body likes to have dynamic movement rather than static movement. So kind of tapping into that dynamic movement. Taking any little last movements here. If you started circling on one side, take some circles on the other side. If you like those cat and cows, you can return back to some spinal flexion and extension. And then eventually letting this carry you all the way down into a child's pose. So allowing your hips to sink back. A couple options might be bringing a block underneath the sacrum or bringing the block underneath your crown, your head, your forehead there. Take a couple deep breaths here. This is a pose for inward gratitude, bowing down towards the earth. Perhaps a bit of self-reflection. And the energy out on the field this morning as we await a bit of a storm, it's very calm. You have to allow yourself to be present enough to come into that intuition. So stay here and breathe. Let go of anything that's no longer serving you. Being as present as the creatures around us, the birds and bunnies. Beautiful. Returning all the way back up into your table pose. And then we're going to dial the right foot out to the right. Lengthen left leg down your mat. Open up to a side plank position. So again, the right foot is pointed towards the back of your room, or maybe the side of your room rather. Left arm is reaching up to the sky, left foot to the bottom of your mat. From here, starting to rotate through left shoulder a couple times. Your gaze might even follow left fingertips. And then taking it in the opposite direction when you're ready. And finding a nice full extension here. Left fingertips reach up overhead. Maybe that left leg lifts as well, coming into a little bit more active pose. Keep that left foot flexed here. Breathe in and out. We'll take 6 leg taps here. So we're going to lower the left foot to the ground to a hover and then lift back up for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Let that left foot land. Find one more full body stretch, pressing the hips forward. And with the exhale, returning back into your table pose. This time the left foot will dial out to the left, lengthening right leg down your mat, opening up to your side plank on the other side. So this time, those right fingertips are reaching up for the sky, and then just rotating that right shoulder a couple times in one direction and in the other direction. Maybe the gaze follows your fingertips this time as well. Finding that nice full long extension, reaching the right fingertips up overhead, pressing the pelvis forward just a touch, squeezing both glutes. Maybe that right leg lifts here. Flex right foot, keep it nice and locked in there, nice and strong. We'll find those 6 toe taps here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let the right foot land. Find a nice big opening here, pressing the pelvis forward. And with the exhale, returning back into your table pose. Let those hips rock from side to side. And then planting 5 fingers into the earth so that you're palming the ground with your hands. Tucking the toes under, finding your flat back, lifting the knees to just a hover. Keep a micro bend through the elbows. We're going to start to understand how our core works here by squeezing it in without constricting breath. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the knees land. Sit back onto your heels. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, arms sweep back down. Let's find one more. Inhale, arms sweep up. And exhale, arms down by your side. Returning back into your table pose, tucking the toes under, finding a flat back. Lift those knees to a hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips pull up and back. Downward facing dog, our first dog of the morning. So just start by pedaling your feet, getting into the hamstrings a little bit. Depending on how tight they are, it might take a little bit more time to get them opening up. Make sure the shoulders are rolling down and away from the ears. Hands are active into the earth. To alleviate some of the pressure on the wrist, press those hips back, bend through your knees. You can always come down onto forearms here or remain in your table pose. Turning knees into some back and forth presses with the inhale, bending the knees to a hover, bent knee dog, hips pull up and back. With the exhale, extending forward to your plank pose. Make sure those shoulders don't come past the wrists. Inhale, bent knee dog, hips up and back. Exhale, plank pose. Keep these moving here. It's almost like a little leapfrog motion, or like a cat getting ready to pounce as it sinks the hips back and kind of locks in on its target and then presses forward, strong plank. This time, as you come into your plank pose, hold it. Palms are still active into the ground, micro bend through the elbows, pulling that chest open, heels to the back of your mat. Breathe in and out. Last inhale. Exhale, knees lower to the ground. Find our first version of chaturanga, letting that chest lower, elbows pointing back. Inhale, low cobra. Start to pick the chest up. Shoulder blades come towards one another. Gaze is towards the earth. Nice, long, strong back here. Inhale. And exhale, release. Making your way back to your downward facing dog through a table pose. Toes tuck under, hips pull up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe here for 3 breaths, maybe continuing some movement for the hamstrings of walking your dog. Maybe a static dog is now where you're at. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, prepare. And with the exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. First forward fold of the day, we like to take with a deep bend in the knees. That way you can fully relax through the lowermost back. Those hamstrings are still probably a little tight. So you want to make sure we just coax them into that natural opening rather than forcing them. Perhaps you want to grab onto opposite elbows and come into your ragdoll, swaying from side to side. Sometimes interlacing hands behind the head can feel really nice for the neck if you're experiencing any tension there. Another more restorative option is bringing the elbows on top of the thighs, finding a deep bend in the knees, and finding more of a supported, almost chair pose. Take your last little movements here. And then bring the fingertips towards your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. This is an active pose, so we're using those abdominal muscles to squeeze, crown of the head lengthening forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly start to rise, one vertebra at a time. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. And exhale, draw all of that energy up in the clouds, right down to your heart. Maybe the eyes close. Feel the pressing of the feet into the earth. Connection here. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up, open your eyes. Exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, strong, active pose. Exhale, hands plant, stepping or finding that little gentle hop back to your plank pose. Holding in your plank pose, again, micro bend through the elbows, chest pulls forward, heels press back, one line from the heels to the crown. Now from here, choose to drop those knees or keep them lifted as we flow. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower, maybe halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. If you're going for that up dog, squeeze the glutes and thighs. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Remember that curiosity that we're trying to harness and try to keep it present throughout class. No judgments here. Let the ego take a break. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, prepare. And exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly start to peel yourself all the way back up to standing. Arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. Ground down here. Breath. Inhale, arms sweep up. With the exhale, we're going to sit down into our chair pose. So let those hips sink. Now you might need to toe heel the feet a little bit more apart from one another so that you can really sink those hips back. Bringing your palms to your the front of the pelvis and the back of the pelvis. Just notice where that location is, where you can hold this with a nice flat back. In order to do that, the knees need to be pressing apart from one another while inner thighs pull in towards one another. So find that contrast to lock you in. Once you find it, hands to heart for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise, press the pelvis forward, squeeze your glutes like you're tucking the pelvis underneath you. And with the exhale, sit back into that chair pose. Here's 3 more. Inhale, rise, squeeze and tuck. Exhale, sit and lower. Here's 2. And 1. Beautiful concentration. Sitting down into that chair pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bringing the weight into right leg, pull left knee in towards the chest. Just really quick, finding a little quick wind reliever. Hands might also place on top of left thigh if you can't pull it all the way in. That's all good. Squeeze right glute here. Bringing the hands towards your heart, stepping left foot back, coming into a crescent lunge. In your crescent lunge, right toes are to the front of your mat. There's a slight bend to that back left knee to get that tuck underneath your pelvis. So notice the difference of this lengthening that left leg, and the difference of this, finding that tucking so you can squeeze both glutes really strong. And for our hip flexor strength in our thighs, quads, glutes, we'll take 10 dips here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, dip down. Pull the elbows towards the rib cage. Inhale, lift. Exhale, dip. So imagine you're pulling a really heavy weight down with you. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, nicely done. Slow elevator rides down. 2, and 1. Hold in that dip for 5, 4. Press into that right foot. Here's 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift up. With the exhale, hinging forward, hands plant. Send the right foot up and back, 3-leg dog. So after working that right leg out, it should feel nice to just stretch it by bending the knee and opening up your hip by letting that right heel drop a little bit over towards the left. Make sure that that left rib cage isn't rotating outwards. Try to keep the ribs in one line, shoulders as well. Inhale, lengthen right leg back up to the sky. And with the exhale, pull right knee into the chest, tiger curl. Inhale, lengthen it back up. Exhale, knee to chest. One more time here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to chest. Step to your runner's lunge. Dialing left heel down, using your core connection to lift yourself into your warrior 2. All right, run warrior 2 on the right side. Take your time to bend and extend a couple times. Get your hips used to that external rotation. And then we'll set this pose up once we're ready. So right toes forward. Make sure that the right knee doesn't go past right ankle. We want that nice stacked joints here. Back edge of the left foot presses for the back of the mat. So if you can imagine my foot next to your left foot, press into my foot. Beautiful. Rip that mat apart. Inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, extend your warrior. So that right arm comes in towards the inner right thigh. Inhale to reverse. Exhale to extend. 2 more like this. Again, we're finding dynamic movement before entering any static holds of postures. Last one. We're going to hold in that side angle here to really experience the strength of this pose. So you can either place the right forearm on top of right thigh. You can lengthen it and press the forearm into right knee and inner thigh. Or maybe you go by lifting that right arm above your head. Maybe left arm takes a bind, taking it towards the back of your lower back. Hold for 5, 4, 3, feel that burn, 2, and 1. Inhale, reverse your warrior. With the exhale, return back to your warrior 2. Lengthen right leg, turn the toes in, wide-legged position. Opening the arms into a T, collecting your breath, lifting your chest. And with the exhale, a nice, slow, controlled hinging forward. Keep that belly squeezing in, kind of like that energy we take on that halfway lift. And finally, relax yourself down. This is going to be your pose for 5 to 6 breaths. So if you like to rock the hips from side to side, shaking of the head, yes and no. Anything fancy you're working on that you feel comfortable taking out here in a safe way. And just kind of staying curious. Maybe the body is craving stillness, and that's where your curiosity has led you. Maybe your body is craving movement, and that's where your curiosity has led you to. That's what I love about yoga. It's just so all-inclusive for all body types. Yoga is breath. Movement is secondary to breath. Walking the hands over towards right foot, coming back into a runner's lunge. Hands plant, right foot steps back, plank pose. Choosing to stay here, or maybe keep that right leg lifted, three-legged plank, a little extra challenge. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Find your chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here to regroup. Come back to that beautiful oxygen being delivered to all parts of your body. And anything is possible with intention. So if you have the intention to send that breath to a specific area that needs a little love, it will be received. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, prepare. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Pausing here for a moment to open and close the jaw and shake the head, yes and no. Let's release that tension starting to build in the cranium. So you know how we get knots in our back or maybe in our hips, shoulders. We can also get knots in the fascia of our head and jaw. That's because we're always clenching. Let's release that. Let your jaw know it's all good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up, arms sweep up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Making sure the feet are hip distance apart here. We're going to be coming into that chair pose, our favorite pose of the class. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinging those hips back, chair position, hands to your heart. See if you can sink down a little bit lower without sacrificing that arching or tilting in the pelvis. Keep it nice and stacked. Hold here, breath. Notice how the mind is like, how long are we going to be here? I don't know if I can do this. Okay, stick with that. Stick with the challenge. Let your body know, look at it, I'm safe. Nothing bad is happening to me. My muscles are engaging. I'm breathing. This is life. This is life force energy for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, press up. Maybe take a slight little back bend as you lift the arms up overhead. Press the pelvis forward, squeeze the glutes. And exhale, pull the hands towards the heart. Last chair pose of the class. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, sinking those hips down, holding here, breathing. Starting to transfer the weight into left foot as you pick right knee up to the chest, giving it a squeeze. Perhaps the hands just land right on top of right thigh. Squeezing left glute, make sure you're not rocking your weight into the left side. Try to keep that chest pointing forward. Hands to heart, step right foot back, crescent lunge. So we're on the ball of the back right foot. Again, remembering that if you lock that right leg, you're going to be kind of creating an arching of the spine. If you bend that right knee, now you're getting a nice stacked pelvis below shoulders, below crown. Inhale, reach up, extended crescent lunge. Exhale, take that slow and controlled dip down. Elbows come towards the rib cage. Inhale, lift. Exhale, dip. We got 8 more. Make them strong. Don't rush through them. Feel that engagement through the left glute. Profound stuff happening through our body. And I lost count because I'm gabbing. So this is 4. Yeah? Here we go. Here's 3, 2, and on the last one, hold for a moment in that dip. Keep that pelvis pressing underneath you. Left foot engaged into the ground. Last inhale. And last exhale. Inhale, lift up. With the exhale, hinging forward. Let the hands plant. Send left foot up and back. 3-leg dog. Bending the left knee, opening up the hip by letting that left heel drop over toward the right area of the room or field. Make sure that the ribs are both pointing towards the ground rather than letting that right rib kind of rotate towards the side. Inhale, lengthen left leg up to the sky. Exhale, tiger curl into the chest. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. 1 more. Stepping to your runner's lunge. Dialing back right heel down and spiraling the arms open, warrior 2 position on the left side this time. Bounce in and out of it a couple times. Get your hips familiar with the external rotation on the left side. And then we get to set this up once the body is ready to enter. So left toes to the front of your mat, back edge of the right foot to the back of your mat. Now again, imagine my foot is lined up with the back edge of your right foot and press into my foot. So we're pulling that mat apart. Arms open in a T. Notice if the hips are sassy. Try to tuck those hips right below your chest. Inhale, flip left palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, find that beautiful extended side angle. Keep it moving here. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extend. We're really just enjoying this really dynamic movement with the body while being in such a still field right now. It's really magical. That calm before the storm. The next time you enter into your side angle, hold and pause here for a moment. Take any variation with the arms that makes you feel strong and powerful. Now, I want you to pay attention. Is that chest dropping forward? Try to pick that chest up. So really rely on the strength of your body to keep you lifted rather than the strength of the joints. We want to use the surrounding muscles around the joints to keep you lifted. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, returning back to your warrior 2. Let's take a little pit stop here in a goddess pose. So heels come in, toes come out. In your goddess pose, just bounce up and down a couple times. You might bring your hands to your hips. And I want you to just kind of pay attention to the sensations in the body. So as you lower, the deeper you get, the more stress you're going to have on those hip flexors. So we want to find that happy spot in the middle where you don't feel too stressed through the hip flexors, but we are getting a stretch, we are getting an engagement. So those thighs and glutes are squeezing, heels pressing in. Bringing your hands into a lotus mudra, so the thumbs and pinkies touch, fingers splay out like a big, beautiful flower. Inhale, press the lotus up, lengthen through your legs. With the exhale, opening that lotus and returning back to where we started. So lotus to your heart. Inhale, press up. Exhale, open. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open. Last 2. And 1. Hold in this goddess position, your best expression of goddess. Check in with those hips. Don't arch the spine. Keep it nice and flat. Maybe even for a moment you touch those glutes. Are they engaged? Maybe you give them a little tap and press. It's your body. Feel it. Engage it. Learn how it works. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise, turn the toes in. We're going to wash this all away with a wide-legged forward fold. If you like this variation of interlacing the hands behind the back, you can take that, open your heart and chest, and exhale, hinge from the hips. Try to keep a little engagement through that lower belly as you lower. Once you've arrived, if you do have that grip, imagine the knuckles are reaching to touch the sky rather than dropping behind the lower back of your shoulder and head. You want to keep the arms pressing up to the sky. This is where that chest opening is happening. If you're working with a grip, slowly start to release it and just relax for the last 2 breaths here. Beautiful, Mary Ellen. Slowly coming into a halfway lift, walking the fingers over towards left foot, runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps back, or maybe it stays lifted, three-legged plank for a little added challenge. 2 breaths. Now prepare, inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And with this exhale, let's take it back to a child's pose for a moment. Perhaps grabbing a drink of water if you need it. Once you've regrouped and got everything back to where it needs to be, let's come back into our downward facing dog. We'll take a couple balancing postures and wrap up with our stretches. Inhale, right leg lifts up to the sky. And with the exhale, curl right knee in towards the chest, step to your runner's lunge. From your runner's lunge, you're going to find that hover, so pull the arms back, crown of the head reaches forward. Now, you can choose to stay here, and this can be the extent of your balance, or you can fly into your warrior 3 position. So those back left toes start to pick up off the ground with a flexed left foot. Maybe your balance means that that left toe is barely even hovering off of the ground. The important part is that right leg is locked into the earth, chest is lifted and confident, crown pulls forward, fingertips pull back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stay with me. Pull the left knee in towards the chest. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Grabbing onto the left leg with left hand. And then opening left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right for counterbalance. We're going to pulse in and out of this. So with the inhale, pull the elbow and knee back to center. And with the exhale, open it up. Beautifully done. All right, we'll take 2 more. In and out. Last one. Now holding here, maybe choosing to hook the left hand under left thigh and extending left leg. Maybe not. Maybe you stay in that bent knee. I know that right leg is screaming. We're going to hold for 2 more. And release out of it. Shake out that right leg. Shake out the wrist. Maybe give a little wiggle, a little bounce. And then we'll plant left foot into the ground. Take right ankle up and over left thigh. Hands to heart, figure 4. So now we're taking that balance on the other leg to rest the right leg. Open up right hip. Now you can choose to stay here and stay lifted. Or you can sink those hips back a little bit, getting a little bit more intense of a stretch through the right hip, but also intensifying the strengthening through left leg. Some people like to even hinge the chest forward and bow, maybe fingertips onto the earth. Wherever you want to take this today, if fingertips are on the ground, it becomes less of a balance and more of a stretch through right hip. Maybe you find a happy medium and you keep the hands at heart, but you let that chest fall forward. 1 more inhale and exhale. Inhale, slowly start to lift back up. And exhale, right foot plants back down. Shake it up, empty coat sleeve. We'll wash this through with the vinyasa and take that to the other side. So come back to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, hinging, pouring yourself forward. Inhale, strong halfway lift, active. Exhale, relax, hands plant, stepping, or maybe you take that little hop back into your plank pose. Heels pressing back, Chest pulls forward. Inhale. Exhale, strong chaturanga, lowering to your degree. Inhale is an up cobra, upward dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Up cobra. Sounds like an energy drink. All right, inhale, left leg sweeps up. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest. Step to your runner's lunge. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart before lifting that chest to a hover. Arms pull back, crown reaches forward. We're setting up this left leg for success by grounding down. Maybe those right toes start to pick up off the ground and you fly the chest a little bit more forward. Flex that right foot. That's going to make a world of a difference for your balance. Chest is lifted. Stay nice and confident here. Back is engaged. Shoulder blades pulling towards one another for 3, 2, 1. Now here's the tricky part. Bring right knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. Right hand stays on your right leg. Left arm opens out to the left. Right leg out to the right. Dancing Shiva. Pulsing in and out of this. So inhale, open. Exhale, knee and elbow come to center. Inhale, open it up. Keep that right foot flexed. Exhale, center. 2 more. Maybe a little smile. With this one, we're going to hold here. Maybe you bring that right palm underneath right thigh and extend that right leg. 2 more breaths. Left leg is working hard here. And release out of it. Shake it out. Empty coat sleeve if you like. Maybe roll the shoulders a couple times. And then we'll find that figure 4 on the right side. So this time, right foot plants. Left leg crosses up and over right thigh. Hands to heart. Choose to stay lifted here. Or maybe you sink those hips back. Challenging your balance a little bit more. Challenging the flexibility through left hip. And the beautiful part about yoga is that you can really tune into your body. So I'm experiencing a little bit of left hip tightness. So I know that when I come to the ground, I'm going to want to really open up through my hips with a nice pigeon pose. Maybe you hinge forward and fingertips come to the ground. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. With your next inhale, slowly starting to lift back up and release out of it. Shake it up. Come to the top of your mat. We're going to flow down onto the ground. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. Exhale, hinging and pouring forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands plant, step back to your plank pose. We're going to find a side plank here. So keep the right palm planted, heels dial over to the right, left arm opens up to the left. Now we took a side plank earlier. If you want to come to that variation by dropping the right knee to the ground, you absolutely can. Either way, those hips press up, chest stays open towards the left side of your mat. Maybe that left leg lifts up for 5, 4. Press those hips up. 3, 2, 1. Now stay together as a group. Let's drop the left hand down, center plank. You guys know what's coming next. Dial the heels over to the left. Right arm peels up. Side plank. That left knee can always drop. Hips press up. Maybe the right leg lifts this time. For 5, 4. Keep the focus. 3, 2, 1. Return to your center plank. Last little push here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the knees lower. Press the hips back. Child's pose. Whew. Good job, you guys. We got our last little push in before the storm. Feel that energy pumping through your body, starting at the heart and moving to all of your extremities. Returning back up into your table pose, finding a couple cat and cows here. Maybe a little side to side. And then extending right leg back with the flexed foot, and then opening right leg out to the right, letting it land in like a half child's pose kind of position. Take a couple presses back and forth. So we're getting into that external rotation of the hip. I'm going to face this way so all of our viewers can see. You got to wear many hats to be a Mystic Fitness teacher. We got the virtual and the in-person. Such a great way to learn and explore as a teacher as well as a student. Beautiful. From here, using your core connection to pull yourself up, gate position. Inhale, arms sweep up. With the exhale, let the right fingertips drop. Find a quick little side bend on the left side body. Inhale, coming back to center, arms open into a T, and then letting left fingertips drop. Right hand up to the sky, and then that right leg lifts. Finding a quad stretch here, that might mean that you just bend that right knee and then extend that right leg. It might mean that you can grab hold of that right foot and press the hips forward. So we're lengthening that right knee to the front of the room. It's kind of hard to know the orientation of everyone. Hips are pressing forward, chest is lifted, finding a nice stretching through the quad muscle. Kicking right leg back out, let it land, carry yourself back to center. Inhale, arms to the sky. And with the exhale, coming back into your table pose, right knee lands under right hip. Sending left foot back this time, flexed left foot. Then carry it open out to the left, let it land, and find those back and forth presses. Should feel really nice through the external rotation of your hip. Maybe you're noticing differences between the right and the left side, and that's totally natural. When you're ready, picking yourself up, gate position, arms to the sky. With the exhale, left hand drops. Find a quick side stretch on the right side body. And coming back to center, open the arms up to a T. Right fingertips land, left arm comes up overhead, left leg lifts. Coming into that quad stretch, so that might mean bending and extending through left leg. That might mean grabbing a hold of left foot or ankle, pressing the pelvis forward. And there is a gentle little bit of kicking into the hand and hand pulling the foot back. Just gentle here. So we're not going for a super active kind of bowish position. We're just stretching our quad here. Beautiful. Lengthen left leg, let it land. Use your core to pull yourself back to center. And exhale, land in your tabletop position. Coming into our prone pigeon. So if you like a reclined pigeon instead, you can lay onto your backs and find that little figure 4 variation. If you're ready for the journey with us, tuck those toes under, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, right leg sweeps up to the sky. And with the exhale, right knee pulls towards right wrist, letting the right thigh be parallel to the long edge of your mat. So very important that that right thigh is parallel to the long edge of the mat. Couple variations here. If you do not have a block, opening up that left knee out to the left, coming into a more seated position. So the left leg is kind of in a 90-degree angle. If you do have a block, consider placing it underneath that right hip. Some people like to keep lifted here, opening your heart and chest. Some people find that prone position by letting their chest hinge forward. I personally love a block underneath my forehead in this posture. That way I can relax my neck and shoulders. Thanks, Myrna. Enjoy the rest of your day. And then this is where breath really just starts to take over. Notice how the energy has shifted from the beginning of class to now. Noticing any emotions that are beginning to arise within this space. Let them know that they are welcome. We hold so much tension and trauma throughout our hips. And it's not uncommon when we're in a very opening position like this to feel that healing energy start to arise. And emotions need to be in motion for us to truly heal. Take 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly coming out of it, we'll transition onto our left side. So put your hands on the ground, prop yourself back up, tuck left toes under, hips pull up and back. Take any little wiggles in your downward facing dog. If you want to take a quick 3-leg dog or pedal the feet, rock the hips. Eventually that left leg extends long, pull left knee in towards the chest and let the knee land towards left wrist. Checking in with the left thigh, make sure that it's parallel to the long edge of your mat. And again, taking any of those variations of block underneath hip or forehead or opening right knee out towards the right for this pose to be the most comfortable it can be. Feel free to explore here. Keep that chest open, hinge forward, find a little wiggle or waggle. It's all welcome. And your movements might even inspire someone else to move that way as well. Wow, we got a little sun poking out right now. Gorgeous. When we give ourselves space and time, we give ourselves the opportunity to tune in to our intuition. Three more breaths here. When you're ready, slowly coming out of this pose, we'll round it off by taking one more quick down dog. So prop that chest open, hands plant, right toes tuck under. Take any little wiggles here before coming into a reclining position on your back. Once you are in that reclined position on your back, take a nice long stretch at first. Fingertips pull in the opposite direction of the toes. And then pulling the knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Keeping right knee pulled in, lengthening left leg down the mat, wind relieving position. So as we pull that right knee into the chest, we're creating a little bit of constriction of blood flow into the right hip. So you might be experiencing a slight pinching, but never any bad pinching, never any bad pain there. We're massaging the internal organs on the right side. As you turn this into your twist by letting right leg cross over towards the left, now we're removing that lock through the hip and we're getting a new supply of blood into our right hip. So feel that rush of energy into that location. In your twist, take any number of variations that feel best. That can mean finding a bend in both knees. That can mean placing a block underneath the right knee. Arms may be open in a T. 2 breaths. And coming back to center, both knees pull into the chest, big squeeze. Trying to keep the lower back on the earth. Keeping left knee into the chest, lengthening right leg down your mat, wind relieving pose. Let's find the same benefits we found on the right side on the left side. So massage those internal organs, cleansing the system of any toxins. Feeling that little bit of constriction through left hip. And then as you turn this into your twist, indulge in that new rush of blood through that location of the body. Again, take any number of variations here. Arms might be open in a T. One more breath here. Coming back to center, both knees pull into the chest. And take any last posture of your choice. So perhaps a happy baby position. Grabbing the soles of the feet, lifting them up to the sky with bent knees. Maybe a reclining bound angle, soles of the feet come together, knees flop out. 2 breaths wherever you are, and then enter into your final resting pose, that beautiful Shavasana. It can be in any position that feels best for your body. Situate yourself in an area where you can be still. Allow the eyes to close. And an option for some energy healing on yourself might be bringing one hand over the heart and one hand over the belly. Might also just mean the arms are alongside of you and palms are facing up, receiving all of the energy from above you. If the hands are on the body, just tune in. So this intuition and this energy we talk about is very subtle. Sometimes so subtle it's often overlooked. We lead such fast-paced lives, it's very easy to become disconnected from this. And that's why we're here. Because we crave this connection. We need this space to explore. And with intention, anything is achievable. So let's try it together. With the hands in an area where you feel like you are comfortable. Make this intention of sending love into your physical body. Can you feel the warmth? Maybe even experiencing a little fluttering sensation. Very common once we're accessing this energetic field to feel grumbling within the belly. Something so simple yet so profound. And this body is home. And taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Again, in and out. If the palms are on the body, slowly start to remove them, taking some gentle movements in the fingers and toes. Letting your energy casually coax back into your physical body. We'll take the next 5 breaths to slowly re-energize and reawaken. And then pulling yourself into a seated position for the close of our practice together. Once you arrive, bringing your hands at palms together at heart center or placing them over your chest. Taking this moment in gratitude for this mysterious universe bringing us here together. This magical force at play. And to each other, we bow our heads and say namaste. Thank you guys all so very much for being a part of another Mystic Fitness Victory Field flow. We love seeing you guys tune in. And if you guys are ever curious about, some of the energy work or Reiki healing, please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about it with you and maybe set up a time where we can do some Reiki together. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for another live Mystic Flow. Thanks, guys.